The night roared like a wounded beast as snow swept across the plains in violent spirals, and in that blinding chaos stumbled a woman named Alara, her breath fracturing into trembling clouds each time she gasped for air, her thin coat whipped violently by the wind as if the storm itself wanted to tear her apart. Only minutes earlier she had stood at the threshold of her family's farmhouse, pleading with the very people who should have sheltered her, begging them to listen, to understand, to trust her, but their faces, once warm, once familiar, had hardened with cold suspicion and unforgiving judgment, and with one brutal shove she was cast into the night, her body hitting the snow with a force that knocked the wind from her lungs as the door slammed shut behind her, a sound that echoed like the final crack of a breaking soul. She pushed herself up, hugging her arms around her shivering body, whispering through chattering teeth that she just needed to reach the barn, or the road, or anywhere but here. But the storm swallowed every step she took, the snow burying her footprints as fast as she made them. She wandered forward blindly, the wind tearing at her hair and freezing, the tears that streamed down her cheeks as memories of her family's accusations stabbed her heart, words of betrayal, distrust, rage she had never expected from those she loved. Her legs trembled, weakened by fear and cold, and she stumbled against a half-buried fence post that jutted from the white wasteland like a skeletal hand trying to claw its way out. Clinging to it, she tried to steady her breathing, but the cold bit deeper, numbing her fingers, her toes, her lips turning blue as her vision blurred and she sank to her knees, curling into herself as exhaustion tugged at her eyes. She whispered apologies no one could hear, promises no one believed, and as the world faded into a dim, icy haze, she felt herself drifting, slipping, sinking into the cold, silent embrace. Then, somewhere far away, came the rhythmic crunch of hooves breaking through the snow, slow at first, then more urgent, like someone fighting the storm instead of fleeing it. A lantern glowed in the distance, swinging from the saddle of a chestnut horse, cutting through the blizzard with sheer determination. And riding that horse was Cole Harding, a rugged cowboy with a weather-beaten coat, eyes sharp even in the storm, and a heart that refused to leave anyone to die alone in the snow. When the lantern's faint halo revealed Alara's crumpled form, his breath caught, and without hesitation he leapt from his horse, landing with a heavy thud in the snow as he rushed to her side. Kneeling, he gently turned her face toward him, brushing away the icy strands of hair plastered to her cheeks, and the sight of her pale, fading expression sparked a fierce, protective fire in him. Hey, don't you quit on me," he murmured, his voice trembling with urgency as he pressed his warm, gloved hand to her cheek. Without another moment wasted, he shrugged off his heavy wool coat and wrapped it around her, pulling her into his chest to share whatever warmth he could. He lifted her effortlessly into his arms, holding her tightly as if she might slip away if he loosened his grip even slightly, and carrying her to the horse. He mounted with her cradled securely in front of him, shielding her from the storm with his own body as he kicked the horse into a gallop. The blizzard clawed at them, wind slicing like knives, snow battering their faces, but Cole didn't slow, whispering softly into her ear, "Stay with me. I've got you. Just hold on." As his ranch house, the only beacon of warmth in that frozen wilderness, came into view far ahead, its faint glow fighting the darkness. He rode harder, faster, as if racing death itself, refusing to let the cold claim her. And as the storm raged around them, one silent truth settled in his heart. Finding her in the snow wasn't an accident. It was the beginning of something that would change both their lives forever. Cole burst through the door of his warm ranch house with Alara in his arms, his boots thudding heavily on the wooden floor as the fire crackled fiercely in the stone hearth, sending waves of heat that immediately fought the deadly chill clinging to her body. He rushed to the couch closest to the fireplace and gently laid her down, his hands working with practiced urgency as he stripped off her frozen boots and soaked coat, wrapping her in thick blankets he had grabbed from the cedar chest beside the fire. Snow melted in droplets down her face as warmth seeped slowly into her bones, and Cole knelt beside her, rubbing her arms through the blanket, whispering soft reassurances as he watched her trembling slow. After several long minutes, her eyelids fluttered open, and she stared up at him with a mixture of confusion, fear, and fragile hope, her lips barely able to form words as she whispered, "Why? Why did you help me?" Cole looked at her with eyes full of quiet strength. The kind of strength that didn't need to be loud and answered softly, because no one deserves to die alone in a storm. Not on my land, not anywhere. She swallowed hard, tears welling again, not from cold this time, but from the sudden unfamiliar feeling of safety. As the fire crackled behind him, illuminating the rugged lines of his face and the sincerity in his gaze, she felt the first spark of warmth not just in her body, but in her heart, a warmth she hadn't felt in years. Cole brought her a steaming cup of broth, holding it to her lips as if she were made of glass, and as she sipped it slowly, her hands trembling, he studied her, wondering what kind of pain drove someone into a storm like that. She finally found the strength to speak, telling him in quiet, shaking breaths how her own family had turned on her, accused her of things she hadn't done, thrown her into the night without hesitation. With every word she spoke, Cole's jaw tightened, his protective,